The first common thing you don't need is probably sitting in your closet. When you wear this thing the first time, it gets you a lot of compliments and it makes you feel super confident because you do stand out. But after wearing that thing 3 or 4 times, people are no longer impressed and it gets old really fast. So yes, number one is bold clothing. Bold patterns, bold textures, bold colors. Those things are cool the first couple times you wear it, but quickly you find yourself not wanting to be known as the leopard shirt guy. Not personal experience. That is why lately my closet has been looking plain AF. Literally all my basic shirts will go with anything and I don't have to be stressing about if I wear a shirt too often because no one even makes a note of it. So as we're getting started, just understand that this is my list of things I probably don't need and won't buy in the future. So go on right ahead and live your life the way you want to, but comment down below if you do feel inspired to stop buying one of these things mentioned in our video because they'll get more and more common as we go along. This next item is something I always get tempted to buy whenever I want to be more productive. I always have good intentions when I buy this thing because I want to start writing down my goals and actually start scheduling things out on paper. And you probably already guessed it, we're talking about paper planners here. There is always this whole section at Target just dedicated to these planners and they always look so beautiful, so aesthetic, and then we buy it thinking it's going to change our lives. Not. I don't know about you guys, but I have never finished a paper planner. The furthest I've gotten is probably a quarter of the way through, but then something about that planner just doesn't exactly fit my lifestyle. The only planner I've ever used all the way through was probably those agendas we were given in elementary school because, it was a requirement to keep it updated. You guys remember those things? Anyways, speaking of school, our next item is something that we used a lot when we were students, but now as adults, we don't need to buy it as often as we think. And I am talking about backpacks here. All right, I see people with a dope Lululemon backpack or one of those Fjallraven ones, but TBH, you just need one reliable backpack and that will last you for years. And just get one that's a plain color too. Once again, you don't want crazy colors and patterns that get old quickly. That'll make you want to buy another bag you don't need. So let's be real here. Who has a cabinet in their kitchen full of water bottles? That is me. I had a thermal flask for 6 months and I thought that was going to be the one I was going to stick with for the next 5 years. And boom, last month I forgot it at the DMV and it was never recovered. So reusable water bottles come and go. After that, I went and bought a $9 thermos at Walmart. It works great. It keeps my liquids just as cold or as hot as any other fancy hydro flask, Owala, or Yeti. So yes, I am calling out the popular water bottles. You do not need them. They might keep your water ice cold for 36 hours compared to 24 hours, but it is not like we're camping every day with no access to cold water, all right? We all go home at some point. You don't need to pay a 300% premium just because it's the trendy bottle this year. And speaking of trends, trying to follow the latest trend on this next item can cost you up to an extra $500 to $1,000. Guys and gals, if you want a new cell phone, it doesn't have to be the newest cell phone. For me, as a frugal guy, whenever the newest iPhone comes out, I don't get excited to buy it. I get excited to get the iPhone that's 2 to 3 generations older because that means its price just went down. And I still don't even buy it because I'm using the iPhone X still. It works just fine. And I shoot some of my B-roll on this video on my iPhone 11. And the camera honestly still looks great. And please, if you are going to get a phone, do not finance that new phone. That is the clear sign that you can't afford it. So you're going to be burning money every month just to pay off this phone, which reminds me of our next item. Imagine buying something every couple weeks that you light on fire and watch disappear right before your eyes the moment you start using it. It looks so good when you buy it in store too. It has this nice container it comes in. It works like a great house decoration, but you know that it's only going to be thrown out in a week. Yep, you guessed it. I am talking about candles. And no, I'm not some candle hater. We have them in our apartment. Okay, I thought there was one back there. My wife likes them, but we're not lighting them up just to keep our house smelling good. It's just for ambiance that we use a few times out of the month. So don't go thinking you need to keep buying candles to keep your home smelling nice. Just keep your house clean and maybe get a Febreze can so you can use it on occasion. Buying a $20 candle is like burning a $20 bill right before your eyes. And nowadays, they keep putting like 3 wicks in there, so now you're burning your money 3 times as fast. Let's talk lotion. So random. It's something we use to avoid getting ashy. It is a big part of our personal care, and it's something we use probably almost every day. Now, this next tip will depend on your body and your skin type, but haven't you noticed the price difference between lotion for your body versus lotion for your face? It's like 2 to 3 times as expensive, and the bottles are 2 to 3 times smaller. Yeah. I used to be a huge CeraVe guy. For 3 ounces of it, it would be like $17 for their face moisturizer. But then I just chose to go with the generic brand sitting right next to it for $8. I tried it out and it had the same effect. I wasn't getting these dry patches on my face anymore. Now for these next 3 tips, I want to talk to you about food really quick, which if you do buy these things, it could really eat at your budget, pun intended. If you go to an office or just work a real job, unlike me, where you go out to go to work, it's really easy to justify this next thing. It doesn't feel like a big deal, but if you're making this small purchase 5 days a week around noontime, then it's gonna add up big time. I am talking about buying work lunch. I remember when I was working at an office, my coworkers would look forward to lunchtime because they would go out and grab something from Chick-fil-A or a local restaurant, and this was not on the company card. They'd probably spend around $10 to $12 every day for lunch, and mind you, we are not a bunch of doctors making over 6 figures. We probably had an average salary of $65K a year. So if you're spending $10 a day, 5 days a week, that's $50 a week, and multiply that by a full year of work, that is over $2,000 a year just going to lunch. Now think about what you could be doing with an extra $2,000. Maybe taking another vacation, paying down some debt, or investing in something meaningful. Packing lunch from home also doesn't just save you money, it gives you control over what you eat so you can be healthier too. And while we're on the topic of food, here's another sneaky expense that might be in your routine. When we're tired, when it's been a long day and we don't feel like cooking, what do? We crack open DoorDash or Uber Eats and pay not only for food, but also a delivery fee, a service fee, and don't forget a tip. So sure, it's convenient, but all those fees can easily add an extra $10 to your order. It's like throwing away money when you can just pick it up for yourself, or better yet, just cook at home. And for the food we do have at home, we don't get super fancy with the way we keep it. We just use old Chinese takeout containers that now hold our leftovers. You might even find an old Cool Whip container holding a bunch of rice or something. And we still do have Tupperware that we bought in a large pack from Ross. So this common thing we don't need to keep buying is more Tupperware, all right? All you really need is one good 12-pack of those reusable containers, and you'll be set for years. Your leftovers do not care if they're stored in a fancy aesthetic container. So let's steer away from food, and let's talk about something that always shows up during the holidays and birthdays: the gift bag. Admit it, we've all received gift bags that were too nice to throw away, and you probably already know where I am going with this. Why buy new gift bags when we can just reuse the ones we already have? Here's a simple trick. Don't write on the bag directly with a Sharpie, just use a little card instead. A gift bag is literally just a vessel to hold the gift, and it gets tossed aside during the party anyways, so there is no need to buy a new one every time. It just sits in the corner while the party's going on. Now, I don't know if you have kids or not. You were a kid in the past, and you might be familiar with how quickly kids' toys can pile up. The toy industry is huge, but do we really need more? Remember that kids are naturally creative. You don't need to overwhelm them with stuff to keep them entertained. They only know what's fun based off what you're communicating to them. You can literally convince a kid that a brick is fun. I don't know, do you remember that episode of Phineas and Ferb where they sold bricks to kids? This is my Gen Z side coming out. Okay. I remember growing up though, my parents would just give us one gift during Christmas and one during our birthday. And I really cherish those gifts more. But even today, I still can't even remember them. Okay, this next item piles up in our house just the same way kids' toys do. Let's talk about mugs. Why are they always so neat to look at in the store? And why are we always so drawn to them? Do we need more mugs? Probably not. At a certain point, we all got our go-to favorite mug, and the rest of them are just taking up space. So next time you see a cute one at the store, remember, you probably already have plenty. 1 or 2 mugs is all you really need for your daily coffee or tea routine. So while you're sitting back, drinking your coffee or tea, it's always nice to read a book. And for all my fellow book lovers, I hate to say it, but physical books might be another thing we're overspending on. With all the options we have now, like Prime Reading, Kindles, or even the good old library, do we really need to fill our shelves with books we might never even get to? I mean, sure, it'll be nice to have a collection of books in a library in my future mansion, but just buy the book you are currently going to read. There is no need to stockpile or to buy all the books that you have on your list. Speaking of lists, these next 4 things are really gonna help you out during the holiday season. Now here's something you probably run into a lot during your holiday shopping. You're checking out at your favorite store and the cashier cashier offers you a 25 to 30% discount if you sign up for a store credit card today. It sounds tempting, right? Like, I'm spending $200, might as well get 30% off. But here's the catch. The interest rate on those store credit cards are crazy. It's probably 25 to 30%, just like the discount. And not gonna lie, guys, I have to make a confession. I used to work retail at JCPenney. It was one of my first jobs, and we would get recognized if we got more people to sign up for the store credit cards. And I'll admit it, my sales skills were amazing, but people would get 30% off their entire purchase, but did not realize exactly what kind of interest rates they were signing up for. Don't hurt me. Next up, let's talk about this one common thing that most of us are guilty of buying at least once: convenience kitchen gadgets. Remember those infomercials? Remember the slap chop? What was his name? The ShamWow guy was sharing what the slap chop is. Here's a simple rule. If a knife can do the job, you don't need a gadget to do it faster, all right? Like, I've been through the kitchen utensil part of the store, and I've been so tempted to buy a potato masher. Do I mash potatoes? No, I don't, but it looks pretty cool. Oh gosh, I'm guilty right here. But let's talk about home decor, okay? We walk into a store and we think, wow, that looks nice. I think we should get that. And I don't even have a place in mind of where to put it, maybe just in the living room. But when we do get home, there really is no place to put that thing. So either it sits somewhere and just collects dust, or we kick off another piece of old decor and that old thing is now collecting dust. You do not need to fill your house with stuff you won't even care about in a month. Now, this final one might be controversial, but hear me out, okay? Ashley and I have been back and forth about buying an Apple Watch for the last 2 months now, but every time we try to justify it, we can't find a good enough reason to get one. If I did get one, I feel like I would have to create routines in my life just to use it. Plus, I want to be more present in my day-to-day, not more distracted by notifications, and my phone already gives me enough notifications. Do I really want to now put that on my wrist? Probably not. So here's the thing. These are just small purchases if you're looking at the big picture of your financial life, but if you really want to avoid the big money traps that are out to get the middle class, check out this video right here where I dive into how you can avoid losing thousands of dollars for no reason at all. I'll see you guys over there.